Avoid these 10 foods to lower creatinine and improve GFR naturally. What if the foods you love are slowly hurting your kidneys? Elevated creatinine is an early signal that your kidneys are overworked. And guess what? Everyday foods such as snacks, drinks, and sauces could be behind it. Today we'll expose 10 foods that make your kidneys work harder and what to eat instead for better filtration. Keep watching until the end because one common, healthy food might surprise you. Let's begin with the one that most people think helps build muscle: red meat. Red meat is one of the top foods that raise creatinine and lower GFR because of the natural compound called creatine found in muscle tissue. When we eat red meat, the body breaks down creatine into creatinine, which the kidneys must remove from the blood. If the kidneys are already working harder than usual, this constant supply of extra waste can increase blood creatinine levels quickly. Red meat is also dense in nitrogen-based compounds, which means every large serving creates more metabolic waste that the kidneys must filter out. Over time, this extra load can lower filtration efficiency and reduce the glomerular filtration rate. Many people believe eating more protein helps them stay strong, but too much animal protein has been shown by Harvard medical researchers to increase kidney stress in adults with early kidney decline. Red meat also contains high levels of saturated fats, which can narrow small blood vessels in the kidneys and interfere with oxygen delivery to the filtering tissues. If the kidneys receive less oxygen, they lose their ability to clear waste effectively. Choosing smaller, leaner portions once in a while, about 4 ounces or less, can reduce the burden. Grass-fed beef has fewer inflammatory fats than processed or grain-fed meat. Trimming all visible fat and avoiding charred or heavily grilled pieces also helps because high heat cooking creates compounds called advanced glycation end products that can harm kidney cells. For safer protein, plant-based sources such as tofu or lentils provide amino acids without producing creatinine. Next up, we'll talk about a breakfast favorite that hides more sodium than most people realize. Get ready to learn the real story behind processed cheese. Before we continue, tell me where you're watching from and if you're working to lower creatinine or support your kidneys naturally. If that's your goal, subscribe to Knowhow and turn on the bell so you never miss the next tip. And if this video helps you, type 1 in the comments or 0 if it doesn't. Your feedback shapes what comes next. Processed cheese and most packaged dairy products may look harmless, but they often contain high amounts of sodium and phosphorus additives that quietly harm kidney function. Just one slice of processed cheese can contain more than 300 milligrams of sodium, and this excess salt makes the body retain water. When fluid builds up in the bloodstream, it forces the kidneys to work harder to remove it, and this constant pressure can reduce filtration speed over time. Phosphate additives are another major problem. These compounds are added to cheese for texture and flavor, but once inside the body, they raise blood phosphorus levels, which makes calcium leave the bones and build up in soft tissues, including the kidneys. Too much calcium and phosphorus together can create deposits that block small kidney filters and reduce glomerular flow. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic have noted that lowering dietary phosphorus improves kidney balance and reduces creatinine buildup in many adults. Another issue with processed cheese is that it often contains hidden preservatives, such as disodium phosphate or potassium phosphate. These are meant to improve shelf life, but they are especially harmful for anyone with reduced kidney function because the kidneys cannot excrete them efficiently. If you enjoy cheese, small portions of low-sodium cottage cheese or almond-based cheese alternatives are safer. Always check labels and skip any item with phosphate additives. Instead of spreading cheese on toast, try creamy mashed avocado with a few drops of olive oil for flavor and healthy fats. Now we move to something that appears heart-friendly, yet contains ingredients that quietly increase creatinine levels: processed deli meats. Deli meats and bacon might look convenient, but they are loaded with ingredients that quietly harm your kidneys with every bite. These meats are packed with preservatives, nitrates, and large amounts of sodium that create a triple challenge for your filtration system. When you eat these foods, sodium forces your body to retain more water, which increases blood volume and makes the kidneys push harder to maintain balance. This constant strain raises blood pressure and causes micro damage to the filtering units that remove waste from the body. The nitrates used to preserve color and flavor convert into compounds that damage blood vessels, which reduces blood flow inside the kidneys. Bacon and deli meats are also rich in animal protein, which produces more nitrogen waste as it breaks down, forcing the kidneys to filter faster and longer than they should. Researchers from Johns Hopkins Medicine found that cutting back on processed meat improved kidney health markers within weeks among people who had early signs of kidney decline. A smart choice is to avoid prepackaged slices and instead use freshly roasted meats from the deli counter. Rinsing slices briefly under water before eating can lower sodium content slightly, which is helpful if you still want an occasional serving. Here is something interesting to think about. Do you believe that such a small step like rinsing deli meats could really make a difference in your health? Share your thoughts in the comments because this habit could be life-changing for someone watching. If you're finding this information useful, take a quick moment to like this video. It may look small, but it tells YouTube this topic matters and helps Knowhow reach others trying to protect their kidneys. Tap that thumbs up if you agree more. People should know this. Moving on, it is time to examine a different problem that hides in plain sight. It tastes refreshing but secretly puts heavy pressure on your kidneys. We are talking about sugary sodas and energy drinks. Sugary sodas and energy drinks may feel refreshing, but they trigger a chain reaction that raises creatinine levels and harms GFR, making kidney detox harder. These drinks are filled with high fructose corn syrup that increases uric acid in the bloodstream. When uric acid rises, it forms tiny crystals that irritate the kidneys and reduce how efficiently they can filter blood. Over time, this also promotes insulin resistance, which raises inflammation and further damages the kidney's delicate tissues. Phosphoric acid is another silent problem in these beverages. It lowers the natural pH of urine, making it more acidic, and that acidity causes the kidneys to work harder to remove waste. Many people think diet or zero-sugar versions are safe, but they often contain artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose that have been linked to reduced kidney filtration in research reviewed by the Cleveland Clinic. Drinking these beverages daily increases the risk of long-term microvascular damage, which means the smallest blood vessels inside the kidney lose their ability to carry oxygen and nutrients. A simple swap can make a big difference. Water infused with lemon, cucumber, or mint supports gentle detoxification and helps maintain hydration without extra sugar. For energy, matcha green tea provides a mild caffeine boost along with antioxidants that protect kidney cells. Regular water intake keeps creatinine stable and prevents unnecessary buildup of waste. Now we move towards something crunchy and salty that almost everyone enjoys, but few realize how damaging it can be for kidney health: packaged snacks and chips. Packaged snacks and chips might feel harmless, but they quietly strain your kidneys in ways most people never think about. A small handful, about 1 ounce, contains around 170 milligrams of sodium, which instantly increases fluid retention in the body. When sodium levels rise, the kidneys must work harder to remove the extra fluid. This constant pressure can gradually weaken their filtering ability. Over time, this can contribute to swelling, higher blood pressure, and poor creatinine clearance. Most chips and snacks also contain trans fats, which clog blood vessels and slow kidney circulation. This means less oxygen reaches the filtration tissues, and that shortage increases the buildup of waste in the bloodstream. Additives like monosodium glutamate and hydrolyzed protein act as flavor enhancers, but they also trigger water retention and sometimes cause inflammation that worsens kidney stress. Research from the National Kidney Foundation suggests that even mild fluid imbalance, when repeated daily, increases the risk of long-term kidney strain. A better choice is air-popped popcorn, drizzled with olive oil and sprinkled with herbs. Roasted chickpeas or a small handful of unsalted nuts also provide protein and fiber without the heavy sodium load. But always check labels carefully because even baked or so-called healthy chips often hide the same amount of salt. Now we move from salty to sweet, yet this time the sweetness flows through a glass. It might look nutritious, but commercial fruit juices carry more sugar than your kidneys can comfortably handle. Commercial fruit juices are often marketed as natural and healthy, but they carry a hidden burden that directly affects kidney function. Even those labeled as 100% juice can contain over 30 grams of sugar per cup, which is equal to eating 7 or 8 teaspoons of sugar in one go. When this sugar hits the bloodstream quickly, it spikes insulin and increases kidney pressure as the body tries to balance fluid and sugar levels. Over time, these repeated spikes cause inflammation in kidney tissues, reducing the glomerular filtration rate, which measures how well your kidneys clean the blood. Juices also lack fiber, which means your body absorbs sugar faster, leaving the kidneys to handle the excess glucose and waste alone. This process can promote the formation of tiny crystals inside the nephrons that damage their structure. According to research from the Harvard School of Public Health, people who consumed sugary juices regularly had faster GFR decline compared to those who chose water or whole fruits. A smarter option is to make a smoothie using half a cup of berries, half a banana, and unsweetened almond milk. The natural fiber from the fruit slows down sugar absorption and keeps kidney pressure steady. If you crave juice, try watering it down and drinking smaller portions earlier in the day. Drinking it at night is not ideal since kidney filtration slows during sleep. Now we shift our focus to something that appears completely healthy but can backfire when kidneys are weak, the humble banana. Bananas often carry the image of being one of the healthiest fruits, yet for someone trying to lower creatinine and protect kidney function, they can quietly become a problem. A single medium-sized banana contains around 420 milligrams of potassium, a nutrient that helps regulate muscle function and maintain heart rhythm. However, when the kidneys are not filtering efficiently, excess potassium stays in the bloodstream, leading to a condition called hyperkalemia. This condition can cause irregular heartbeats, muscle weakness, and in serious cases, cardiac arrest. The kidneys usually handle this mineral balance well, but when filtration slows down, even small amounts can build up faster than most people realize. Research from the National Kidney Foundation highlights that high potassium intake in individuals with reduced kidney function can worsen creatinine levels within weeks. Potassium buildup not only interferes with the body's electrical signaling, but also places additional pressure on the nephrons, the kidney's filtering units. That's why portion control is so important. If you really enjoy bananas, half a small one on occasion might be acceptable, but only when creatinine levels are within a stable range. Choosing alternatives like apples, grapes, or berries is much safer. These fruits provide antioxidants, fiber, and natural hydration without loading the blood with potassium. When buying bananas, choose smaller and less ripe ones because the riper they get, the higher their potassium concentration becomes. One interesting detail many people miss is that overripe bananas not only have more potassium, but also more sugar, which can increase kidney workload as insulin spikes. Do you think people often overestimate how healthy bananas are for kidney health? Share your thoughts below because it is surprising how a fruit so simple can have such a complex effect. Now we move to something nearly everyone uses every day, yet it silently wears down the kidneys from within. It is the ordinary table salt found in every kitchen. Salt is one of the most common seasonings in kitchens, yet it is also one of the most damaging ingredients when it comes to kidney health. Excessive sodium intake raises blood pressure, and high blood pressure directly harms the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys. When these vessels stiffen or weaken, the kidneys cannot filter blood efficiently, which causes creatinine levels to rise. The more sodium in the bloodstream, the more water the body retains, leading to swelling, puffiness, and a higher volume of fluid that the kidneys must handle each day. Research from the Mayo Clinic shows that maintaining sodium intake below 2,000 milligrams per day helps improve glomerular filtration rate in early kidney disease. Even a moderate reduction can lower protein leakage in urine, a sign that kidney filters are under less strain. Many people assume that sea salt or pink Himalayan salt is safer, but both contain almost the same amount of sodium as regular table salt. Their mineral differences are too small to matter in kidney health. Instead of relying on salt, use flavorful seasonings that add taste without sodium stress. Lemon zest, garlic powder, paprika, and rosemary can bring meals to life without increasing kidney pressure. Herbs like basil and thyme also contain natural compounds that support blood circulation and reduce oxidative stress on kidney tissues. Some people switch to potassium-based salt substitutes, but those should only be used under medical guidance since high potassium can be as dangerous as sodium for people with reduced kidney function. A simple rule is to cook fresh foods more often and avoid packaged sauces, spice blends, or instant meals that usually hide large amounts of salt. Even foods labeled as reduced sodium can still exceed safe limits when consumed daily. Reducing salt might sound challenging, but your kidneys will respond quickly. Within weeks, fluid balance improves, blood pressure stabilizes, and the filtration rate can begin to recover. Now we shift our attention to something sweet that feels harmless, but carries a hidden load of phosphorus that can quietly worsen kidney damage: chocolate and cocoa-based treats. Chocolate is often seen as a comfort food, but when it comes to kidney health, it is one of those silent stressors that most people do not think twice about. The problem lies in its content of oxalates and phosphorus, both of which can create trouble when the kidneys are not filtering properly. Oxalates can combine with calcium to form tiny crystals inside the kidneys, which later turn into kidney stones. At the same time, phosphorus, especially in its processed form, raises creatinine levels by overloading the body's waste filtration system. The kidneys then work harder to remove the excess, leading to gradual tissue fatigue and decreased efficiency over time. Research from the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases explains that high phosphorus intake directly disturbs calcium balance, which not only weakens bone density, but also triggers the formation of calcified deposits in kidney tissue. The issue becomes worse with processed chocolates that contain phosphate emulsifiers, sodium caseinate, and other stabilizers to improve texture and shelf life. These additives add more phosphorus and sodium to the diet, further straining kidney function. If you love chocolate, dark varieties with at least 70% cocoa solids are a safer option. They contain fewer additives and provide antioxidants like flavonoids that can help reduce inflammation. Still, portion size matters. Keeping it under 1 ounce per day is the key to enjoying the taste without the harm. Cocoa-based drinks are even more problematic because instant mixes often contain phosphate-rich stabilizers and milk powders that increase both phosphorus and potassium intake. A smart alternative is carob powder. It gives a similar taste, has natural sweetness, and carries much less phosphorus. Have you ever noticed that your hands or feet swell slightly after a rich chocolate dessert? That might be your kidneys signaling stress from excess minerals. Paying attention to small body reactions like that can make a big difference. Now we turn our attention to a food that fitness enthusiasts swear by but can quietly raise creatinine if used too freely. It is time to talk about protein powders and supplements. Protein powders have become part of many people's routines, especially those who want to build muscle or lose weight. However, most people do not realize that the same powders that build muscles can overwork the kidneys. The reason is that many protein supplements contain creatine and branched-chain amino acids, which directly increase the amount of creatinine produced in the body. This happens because creatine breaks down into creatinine during metabolism, and when too much is consumed, the kidneys must clear more waste than usual. Over time, this constant pressure can lower the glomerular filtration rate and make kidney function less efficient. The nitrogen content in these protein supplements is another problem. When the body digests protein, it produces nitrogen waste, which must be removed through the kidneys. A study conducted by Stanford Medicine found that people who used high-protein supplements for long periods experienced a measurable decline in their filtration rate, even when they had no previous kidney issues. The effect was even stronger in those who combined protein powders with a high-meat diet. Safer choices do exist. Plant-based proteins such as pea or hemp protein produce less nitrogen waste and still support muscle recovery. Limiting usage to half a scoop after workouts instead of replacing meals can protect the kidneys from overload. Mixing the powder with water instead of milk also reduces the phosphorus and potassium burden. When shopping, check the label closely. Avoid any product that lists creatine, taurine, or phosphate compounds, as these can directly raise creatinine and phosphorus levels in the blood. Many people assume that if something is labeled natural, it must be safe for daily use. But that is not always true. Supplements are concentrated sources of nutrients, and the kidneys handle them differently than whole foods. Ask yourself, do you really need that daily shake? Or can a balanced meal provide what your body requires? That simple question could prevent years of kidney strain. Now that we have covered the major dietary culprits, It is time to look at one powerful bonus technique that is not about food at all, yet can enhance kidney detoxification and circulation: gentle inversion therapy. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to support kidney function does not involve food at all. Gentle inversion therapy is a technique that helps the body naturally improve blood flow to the kidneys while easing pressure from fluid buildup in the lower body. When you lie with your legs slightly higher than your heart, gravity helps redirect blood and lymphatic fluids toward the core, which supports better filtration. This position allows more oxygen-rich blood to reach the kidneys, which in turn improves how efficiently they process waste. It also helps the lymphatic system move trapped fluids that can otherwise collect in the feet, ankles, and legs by the end of the day. Physiotherapists at the Cleveland Clinic have observed that adults who regularly practice mild inversion positions experience better fluid balance and even fewer nighttime urination episodes. The reason is that during inversion, venous return improves, which reduces swelling and redistributes fluid that would otherwise push through the kidneys once you lie flat at night. Over time, this gentle shift helps relieve the constant strain that can cause higher creatinine levels. You do not need expensive equipment to do this safely. You can use an adjustable inversion bench, or you can simply lie on the floor and rest your legs against a wall for about 5 to 10 minutes twice a day. During the position, try slow, deep breathing. This not only relaxes the muscles around the diaphragm, but also supports better oxygenation, which benefits kidney tissue health. Consistency matters more than duration, so making it part of your morning and evening routine is far more beneficial than doing it once in a while. However, safety should always come first. If you have high blood pressure, glaucoma, or back problems, this may not be suitable. Always rise from the position slowly to prevent dizziness or lightheadedness. The goal is to assist your kidneys, not to shock your system. Have you ever noticed your feet feeling heavy or swollen by evening? That is your body's sign of fluid pooling, which this simple method can help relieve naturally. Now here is a quick recap of what to avoid and how to adjust your choices for better kidney health. Limit red meat and choose plant proteins for easier filtration. Replace processed cheese with low sodium or plant-based alternatives. Avoid deli meats or rinse fresh cuts to reduce sodium. Skip sugary sodas and drink infused water instead. Choose roasted snacks or air-popped popcorn instead of chips. Drink homemade smoothies instead of bottled fruit juice. Control banana portions to manage potassium. Season food with herbs rather than salt. Keep chocolate intake low and use carob as a gentle replacement. Use small servings of plant-based protein powders only when necessary. And lastly, add gentle inversion therapy to your routine to help your kidneys release trapped fluids and improve circulation naturally. Each of these small changes can add up to a major improvement in your kidney filtration and overall wellness. If this video gave you real clarity on lowering creatinine and caring for your kidneys, don't leave without subscribing to Knowhow. And if you feel this advice truly connects with what you're facing, type relief in the comments.